The South African Human Rights Commission says those aggrieved by its findings in the Brackenfell High School matter must challenge those in court. The Commission says the school was not involved in what was termed a whites-only matric event 2 years ago. Now, clashes broke out at the school between EFF members and some parents at the time. Let's now speak to Gaum. He's the Commission's Education Commissioner. Mr. Gaum, thank you so much for your time. What persuaded the Commission to reach its conclusion that the organizers did not directly or indirectly discriminate against grade 12 pupils on the grounds of race?
Good evening, and thank you very much. Good evening to the viewers as well. So whilst the Commission found through its thorough investigation by Senior Legal Officer Zuki Magazi that some of the school's officials knew about the event, as details of the event were shared by parents and guardians and learners of the school on social media and by word of mouth, and 4 teachers had been invited in their private capacity. The evidence before the Commission exonerates the school from the planning, funding, advertising or hosting of the Matric Ball. Accordingly, the Commission found that the school did not host a whites-only Matric Ball and therefore did not discriminate, whether directly or indirectly, fairly or unfairly, against grade 12 learners at the school on the ground of race. The Commission further found that the organizers of the event also did not directly or indirectly discriminate against learners on the ground of race. So we've looked at the facts. We have had various interviews with all role players involved, and that is the conclusion we came to based on the facts and the evidence before us.
So was the school aware of, this event before it took place? In your investigation, did you find that, were they aware?
The school must have been aware in the sense that some of its learners attended the event and 4 of the educators were also invited. But the important thing is that in terms of the invitations, they were not exclusively sent, according to the evidence before us, to white learners only.
So they were sent, pardon me, Mr. Gaum, sorry, they were also sent, in your investigation, you found that they were sent to black learners as well at the school.
It was, the invitation process was an inclusive process, but the report is available. The reasoning is quite clear in the report why this is the finding of the Commission as far as the Matric Ball issue is concerned. There are also other learners and former learners who indicated that they are aware of racism at the school, and we will continue to look into those aspects. But as far as the Matric Ball is concerned, that this is our finding in that regard. So there were also other issues that we deal with in the report, including the violent protest action that eventually broke out and had a negative effect on the right to a basic education of learners, as well as the best interest of the child, which was not served in this instance, according to our report. So that's also another aspect that we made certain clear findings on.
I'm keen to find out, did you speak to the parent who posted this on social media, and what made them hold the view then that there was discrimination on the grounds of race in this particular matter, and that black pupils at that school were not allowed to attend this particular event or were not even invited?
Yeah. You see, I don't want to give running commentary now on the report. The report is there, the reasoning is there. Our senior legal officer, Zuki Magazi, has done the investigation. So I don't want to interpret the report. I'm just explaining what
I'm not asking you to interpret the report, Mr. Gaum. Pardon me, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking if you did speak to the parent and what were the reasons that they gave for this, because there are concerns around this particular report, and you have seen, I'm sure you've seen the EFF saying that you've waited for the Education Department to wrap up its own investigation in the Western Cape, and then you did a copy and paste, which is why I'm asking around this particular issues as well. Did you speak to the parent that posted on social media? And for you, when you were doing the investigation as the Human Rights Commission, what reasons did they give for even having the view in the first place?
So, referring specifically to the parent you refer to now, an adult who heard about the event from from their child's friend, who was a learner at the school, was one of the first people to post on Facebook, alleging that the event was racially discriminatory. So it was not someone who had first-hand knowledge about the event, but heard from it. So the learner in question was approached and refused to meet the commission to give further information to the commission. So that is as far as that post is concerned, which was not a post of first-hand experience according to our investigation, which goes to show also that, since COVID, it has brought to the fore, in many instances, increased misinformation on social media platforms. And the Commission is also concerned and mentioned that in its report as well, that even it appears that there might have been, or we note that the publishing in the mainstream media also of people's allegations without checking the accuracy and veracity of such allegations quoted in the media holds the risk of harm. Especially this is true when dealing with allegations of racism in South Africa, a particularly volatile issue in our country, serving also to aggravate racial tensions, invoking false narratives and creating opportunity for hatred and violence. And in this instance, what we saw as a result was violent protest action and violence at school. So for the EFF to say that we have cut and pasted, we really invite them to read the report, and it would be very clear from the report that it is no cutting and pasting exercise that took place here, but a very thorough investigation from our side. If people are unhappy with the outcome of the investigation, as we have pointed out, they can take the Commission on review, but any such challenge will have to obviously have sufficient grounds for it to be challenged successfully. And we are quite sure that the thorough investigation that has done here, that has come with this result, is based on the facts of the particular incident.
So
all allegations of racism does not mean that there is unfair discrimination. Some do, and those should be rooted out absolutely and addressed. And when we identify such, the South African Human Rights Commission will make negative findings about that and make sure that there is adequate redress. And in general, I must say, we are also very much in favor of the development of a sensitivity and diversity program for all schools, because every now and again there are events that occur or allegations that are lodged, and it is in the interest, we think, of basic education in our country, of social cohesion and so on, that such a program is rolled out in every school, and that therefore we have taken steps now to meet with the Department of Basic Education. The meeting has already taken place to develop such a program.
Pardon me, Commissioner, I have to come in there because we're almost out of time. So what you're saying is that the criticism that has been leveled against the Commission by the EFF, even saying that there was a school, WhatsApp group, which is a portal that is meant to communicate school matters, where this particular event was communicated in, which could have also been misinterpreted by some as the school's position. Are you saying that the criticism leveled against this particular report is unwarranted?
It is indeed unwarranted, in my view. We have reached out to all the relevant stakeholders and those who are willing to speak with us. The Commission is very grateful, it has to say, for the cooperation it received from all the relevant parties. This included school learners who identify with various race groups. So learners from various race groups, parents, guardians of learners, learners from a different school, the Western Cape Education Department as well, that we obviously also had to consult on the matter, and the Brackenfell High School. So we are quite happy that this has been a thorough investigation by Zuki Magazi, and that the findings are sound.
Commissioner, in 10 seconds, what took so long? I mean, it's been 2 years.
Yes, now these processes do take time. In this case as well, you know, in guiding these matters, the commissioners also sometimes ask the investigators to look at the specific issues again and to have further interviews and so on. So unfortunately, it does take long. Maybe in this case, it took a bit too long, but we wanted to be thorough and wanted to be sure that we have really done the very best we could in terms of investigating this matter.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That is Andre Gaum. He's the Education Commissioner at the South African Human Rights Commission, talking about that issue of Brackenfell High School. You'd remember, you know, where clashes broke, and there was also said to be a whites-only matric event that was held, but the Commission found differently and has subsequently published a report around, you know, this particular issue. And of course, some are unhappy with it, and the Commission saying that those who are unhappy with the report must take it to court. Let's then